making offers for them. We weren't getting all of them accepted, but over a 6-month period, bought $18 million in land. A lot of business from last year was on a client that I met and that sold a large property to Microsoft for a data center. And so he had a large 1031 exchange. He's an out-of-state guy, and he wanted to diversify in Iowa. He hadn't owned anything in Iowa. He bought a farm on an auction in Iowa, and that was his first farm he had owned, and then reached out to me on the listing I had, and we connected real well. We built a good personal relationship and found out more of what his goals are in his situation. And he had a large sum of money he needed to allocate in a certain amount of time. And so he just, kind of had the parameters of what he was looking for. What's the ROI? What's the CSR2, dollars per acre? A lot of different things that kind of fit into where he wanted to be. And he kind of wanted to keep it roughly all in the same area. Maybe have like a hub farm, like a big hub farm, and then because he was going to lease it all out anyway. I was bird dogging opportunities, whether it was off market, looking at everything on the market, making offers for him. We weren't getting all of them accepted, but over a 6-month period, bought $18 million in land. Benefit to using an agent on a 1031 exchange is when you're in that situation, you got a finite amount of time to find what you're going to buy. And so having an agent look as much as they could possibly look and find or reach out to other clients or other agents to find something that is available that might not be publicly available. A bunch of people have pocket listings with their own clients. I got a few of my own that, personal pocket listings that could fit in a certain situation. And so having an agent bird dog farms and for your certain criteria is crucial in a 1031 exchange. You're working with High Point, you got 50 plus guys across 10, 11 states that you can reach out to on any given day or on a conference call saying, I got, a certain kind of buyer request or seller request, and using that team to your advantage rather than, just a smaller type company where, you just got one guy. In this situation, you got 50 guys, and if you have a certain amount of money you got to spend and certain criteria, we can come up with that fairly quick, more than likely. Another client of mine, kind of a family friend, had a pasture farm, a large pasture farm, super unique property in a really cool area, but it just didn't fit his desires anymore. He was kind of tired of maintaining fence and cutting trees off the fence and you name it, and there had kind of been a little bit of erosion issues starting, and highly desirable property for a lot of other people, younger people, that could to handle that and do whatever they wanted to do with it, turn it into a rec farm or whatever. He had a desire to take that investment, sell it, and flip it into a more desirable property, what he was after, a more on return on investment type property. And so we ended up selling that farm for him at, market value or above. And then he went 1031 into a different farm that fit his desires more and got him about 3 times as much annual return as the pasture farm did. It wasn't that he didn't believe in land anymore or the investment in having land in his portfolio. It was that property didn't fit what he was really after. He was, kind of getting aged and didn't want to deal with that anymore. And so he just wanted someone else to maintain it and have a cash rent type situation. That just goes into showing the value and having land in your portfolio. I say it all the time to investors or whoever. If you're an artist, you can't start painting until you have a canvas. You got to have a canvas to start with, a piece of land, and then what are you going to want to do with it? Are you a pheasant hunter and you want to put it in the CRP? Are you a tillable guy that you want to farm it? You name it. Is it a hunting property? You got to have the piece of property to make it your own at that point.